everyone, welcome to the Assembly of the Arts. My name is Danielle and I'm going to be your Spanish teacher. We're going to be giving Spanish classes so that you all have some Spanish that you can use in real conversations in the real world. Buenas tardes a todos, me llamo Danielle y yo soy la profesora de español. Aquí en Assembly of the Arts estamos dando clases de español para que ustedes puedan utilizar el español en el mundo real. So, every time that we have a Spanish class, we are going to leave you with at least a couple of words that you can use in the real world. So, items that you handle every day. For example, teléfono, or you might also hear móvil. Reloj, reloj. Llaves, mis llaves. Marcador, borrador. Y máscara. So just now, in a span of about 20 seconds, you learned what? 6 words? So that's the kind of stuff that you're going to be learning in this class. So I know it seems a little elementary, but we are going to go ahead and start with the alphabet. It's important to know the alphabet because when you see words in Spanish, you want to be able to pronounce them. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with the names of the letters, and we will also start with how those letters sound in specific words. First, we're going to start with, of course, A. So se dice A. This is the letter A, and it makes the sound that it says. Okay? So it makes A. Now, the thing about Spanish vowels, and we'll talk about this more as we continue on, is that they always make the same sound. Sometimes in English, A is ah, sometimes it's aw, sometimes it's ah. It's not like that in Spanish. It's always ah. So it makes it a little easier to read. Next we have be, be, and you say it just like that, be. And it makes the same B sound that you would hear in conversation. So I'll give you an example of a word with both of these. Abrazo, abrazo. You hear how the two A's both make the A sound? That's because they don't change in Spanish. Abrazo. Good. Now we're going to move on to C or se. Okay? I'm just writing the pronunciation, how you would say the letter name. But when you say the letter se, it can have 2 sounds, just like in English. So it can be a soft C sound, so s, or it can be a hard C sound, so k. So an example of that would be, I'll use the same word, just a different form of it. So I could say abracé, so this is a soft C sound. Or let's say I use the word color, pero en español se dice color. So you have color and se, abracé. Okay, so it makes those both of those sounds, you kind of get the hang of when you use each one. The next one, pretty easy, is D. I'm writing, hold on, I want to write this one in uppercase. So this is de. So dice de. So D just makes the same sound as it would the. Okay? Next letter, this is A. So this is where it gets to be a little confusing because E in Spanish is A, and it always makes A, the A sound. I'll give you an example. Here, when we said this word to listen to the soft C, this makes the A sound. Abracé, abracé. Okay? So that's why when you say, let's say we say me llamo, you say me llamo. You don't say mi llamo, me llamo. So the letter name for this and the sound switches with A. That's okay, because A is A, E is A. Okay. So then we have F. F. Okay? F really does just make the same sound as it does in English. So formato or Feria is just a sound. So, but the letter name is F. All right, so now I'm going to erase these so that we can get into some of our other letters. Well, maybe I should. All right, just edit this part out. Edit me saying I'm going to erase these because we're going to go over all of them together first. So far we have A, B, C, D, E, F. All right, now let's go ahead and move on to our next set of letters. I'm going to use a different color. Okay, now we're going to start with G, pero en español se dice G. G is the name of it. So G does also make two sounds like it does in English. So the thing is that it's not the same two sounds. Actually, does English have a soft G? I don't know if English has a soft G. Edit this part out. Don't say that has two sounds. In Spanish, G has two sounds that it can make. I'm not really sure if it has two sounds in English. I feel like, oh, it does. Okay. Rewind. So just like in English, G has two sounds. They are different two sounds, but it does have two sounds. So like in English, we have giraffe, giraffe, and then we have, I got something. In Spanish, we do have that hard G sound, but instead of the J, we don't have that in Spanish. It's like an H sound, okay? So for example, since I said giraffe, this would be jirafa, jirafa. So it makes an H sound, jirafa, okay? And then if I want to hear that soft or the hard G sound, that's going to be juego, go, okay? Juego, jirafa, juego. So it's H or G. All right, next we have the letter H. Y se dice H. H. That's how you say the letter name is H. Okay? H, fun fact, is really just a silent letter for the most part. So when you say, that's why we don't say hola, right? We just say hola. So when it's at the beginning of the word, es silente. No tiene sonido. It doesn't have a sound. Okay? So, hola. Now, you will see H with like CH, and that would make the same sound that it would in English. So like chocolate. It's just that ch sound. Fun fact, this used to be its own letter in Spanish. It was called che, but they got rid of it. So yeah, H is just really silent unless you see it with a C. I can't think of any words that it's not with that. Yeah, so hola. If somebody's last name is, Hidalgo, if that has an H in it. If I want to say this word, it's hago. Okay, I don't say hago. So it's just silent at the beginning of the words, and that's usually where it is. The next one, so this is where it gets to be fun and confusing. This is E. So they say E for I, okay? So there's no I sound. There's E. This will always make the E sound. So E sounds like A is A, I is E. I know, that's hard. So the best way I can show you how this looks, you just always say E. That's the thing about vowels, is that it's always just that sound, okay? So you'll hear the A in this word as well. So, inteligente, 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 inteligente. So that's why, or now you can see how it makes this E sound, okay? Another one that might be helpful, okay? Imposible, imposible. So in English, I usually has other sounds like okay, but we don't do that. It's not impossible or imposible. No, imposible, imposible. It always makes that E So, okay, let me get my letters. J is called Jota. Jota is the letter name. And Jota actually makes an H sound. So that's why we say, when we see this word, we say jalapeño and not jalapeño. Okay? Or we see this person's name and it's Javier. Javier, not, Javier, which is my cousin's name. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, so Javier just makes an H sound. And then, okay, so I have to say the alphabet in my head because, this is just Ka, okay? And Ka, honestly, this is a more like English-y letter. So you really don't see a lot of words with Ka unless it's a word that is borrowed from English. So like, I don't even know if this is how you spell kangaroo. I want to say it's with a C. I'm going to look it up. But I know that it's canguro. I just don't know if it is with a K or a C. But we're going to find out. Edit this out. Okay. I think it's with a... Oh, no, it's with a C. I don't know. I can't recall words that start with K in Spanish. Let's find out. Hey Siri, what's a word that has the letter K in it in Spanish? Let's see what it does. Okay, because it's not common. That's the only reason why I'm having an issue is because it's really not common. Words with K in Spanish. Yeah, all of these are, okay, yeah. So all of these are words that are borrowed from English. So here's an example. This is clearly borrowed from English. Okay? Kilometro. It makes the same k sound as it would in English. So kilometro. K you won't see in a lot of Spanish words unless it's borrowed from English or, another language. So let's go over these words. We have he, as in jirafa or juego, H as in hola or hago, I as in inteligente o imposible, J, jalapeño, Javier, and K, kilómetro. G, H, I, J, K. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we're on L. So we have L, and then you say L, okay? L is the name of the letter L, and it makes the same sound. When it's by itself, it makes the same just L sound. So like, the word lago or lago is fine. It just makes L sound. Now, if you see a double L technically is not its own letter anymore. It used to be called ella, and the reason it was called ella is because it made a y sound. So we already talked about me llamo, but that's how you spell me llamo, okay? Me llamo, okay? Or, if somebody gives you a call, it's una llamada. So it's double L makes the y sound. So if you ever see double L, y makes a y sound. Okay? Now we're going to move on to M. This is M. So M, the letter sound for M, M makes the same sound. It's just M. So me llamo, me llamo. I'm not going to write it again. Then we have N. So this is N for N. N. Again, makes the same sound as N does in English. So if I wanted to say, noche. Noche. So it just makes a N sound. Now the only letter that's different, because this is not part of the alphabet anymore technically, and then che is not part of the alphabet anymore. This is, however, still its own letter. It is enye. How do I say this? Enye. That'd be the best way to pronounce it. Enye. So enye makes the nya sound like you would see, in English, like canyon, like we say canyon. It's the same thing. So anytime you see this tilde above the N, it's going to be a nya sound. There are a lot of words that you might remember just from basic Spanish that have the enye sound. So baño, okay? Say baño, not donde está el baño, right? You say donde está el baño. Kind of think of that tilde as like ño. Donde está el baño, okay? So that would be one. Another one would be like a word like, this is for spider. Araña, okay? So ña is that sound that the enye makes. Okay, next we have o. Now another thing about Spanish vowels, otra vez, another time, so, okay. So this letter is o, okay? And just like the other Spanish vowels, it always makes that same sound, o, okay? So you'll never hear it say, like in English, sometimes it's ah for us, like October. In Spanish, it's always o. So it would be like octubre, okay? Octubre. Or, ombligo. It's always o. It's always a rounded o. Always, okay? So, octubre, ombligo, o. Very easy, okay? So, we have ele. Ella is an honorable mention. It's not technically one of the letters, but ele, ella, m, n, ñ, o. Okay, so we have lago, me llamo, llamada, noche, baño, araña, octubre, ombligo. Let's move on. Okay, next we have pe. Pe. So something I want you to notice about Spanish, just in general, is that it's not as airy as English is. So when we say P, like put your hand in front of your face, say P, right? P. You feel that air, right? When you say pe in Spanish, you kind of like, you let your lips roll. You don't say pe, right? You say pe. Like it's like a very like constricted sound. Pe. And you barely feel any air on your hands. Okay, so pe, lots of air. Pe, barely any. Okay? Just a heads up, if you want to sound a little more convincing. So we have pe, right? Pe just makes the same sound as it does in English. So a word for pe would be like peligro. Okay? Peligro. Just easy. Pe. So next we have Q. So the name of it in Spanish is, how do I write this? Q? Yeah. Cool. So cool is it's another word. Well, you'll see Q typically paired with like a QU. So like, but it doesn't make like a qua sound like what we think in English. It really just most of the time just makes a hard C sound. So an example, and again you'll see it with a QU would be like the word toque, like it's the K. Or yeah, I could just use K if you want. Again, it's paired with a U typically, so it's just K. I can't personally think of any words that have Q, making a qua sound. It's really just a kind of a hard C sound. So Q, toque, and K. Then we have ere. Ere. I really use like a D sound. That kind of makes it like like you're saying de, but not like de so hard like that, but like ere, like it's just kind of just rolls off the tongue. That's really what it sounds like when you speak to Native or heritage speakers of Spanish, they'll say ere. And this at the beginning of a word is a rolled R, but if it's like at the middle of a word or something like that, it just really makes a soft D sound. That's why I say that soft D. So like if we look at the word peligro, like we say peligro, gado, like it's like a soft D. It's not peligro, right? We don't say that R sound. That's not really a thing. So peligro, or let me think of another one. Oh, like the word for bull, right? Instead of saying toro, right, you would say toro. Like it's like it's just a soft D sound. So that's a soft D sound, and then when it's at the beginning of the word, that's when it's that rolled R. So then it'd be like for the color red, you would say rojo. Now I know a lot of people struggle with rolling their R's. It's just something that you have to practice. So yeah, rojo, toro, rojo. Okay. The double R used to be its own letter. Okay, it was R, really is what it was, and it was really it just makes that rolled sound. So like if I saw that in a word such as the word for car, it'd be carro. Okay, so manejo mi carro. Okay, and you just get used to saying it within words. That's one of the harder things about pronunciation. But this is not a letter anymore. It's just like che and eye. Okay, it's not its own letter. It's just a double R, always rolled. Then we have S. That is ese. Ese is the name of the letter. It makes the same sound as it does. So like, solo or sobrino, sobrino. Okay, it just makes a sound. Then we have te. So te really does that same thing. This is where I talk about like the airy sound in English. I said te so that you could hear it. So when you put your hand in front of your face, right? Te, right? It's that hard T, like really airy sound, te. But then if you kind of give it a little bit of a TH sound, you're saying like te. Like it's shorter, you're not using as much air, te. Okay, so I'm gonna put like a THY. And again, this is just the letter name, so te. So, but even when you say it, like I'll use these two as examples. I don't want to say toque, like that's it's too airy. It takes too much time, right? Toque. You see how it makes it even faster? That's why it seems like Spanish is being spoken a lot faster, was because we don't use all that air and have to open our mouths so much with it. Same thing with this one. It's not toro, it's toro. Toro, toque. Tomate. Okay, I'll give you another one. Tomato, tomate, not tomate. And again, you can say it, but it just sounds a little more natural when you say tomate. Okay? Then we have U, which is just U. Okay? So again, just like our other vowels, you will always make this sound. U. Always. U. It'll never be, or anything like that, because we do that in English. Okay? It's always U. So when we did like October, okay, it's octubre, not octubre or anything like that. Octubre. Okay, it'll always be just U. I'm gonna write V down just because I feel like I have room. So V, the letter name actually changed recently. It is now called Ube. I'm gonna write it the way that it sounds. So Ube. Because in Spanish, we don't have a V sound. There's no V. Again, this goes into like why Spanish is a lot quicker, because we don't use these like long pronunciations that we do in English. So it's not like, let me think of a letter that has a V in it. I'll do vocal, right? Instead of saying vocal, right, that takes a little bit more time than just saying a soft, sorry, I didn't tell you what the sound it actually makes. It makes a soft B sound. So sometimes people will get B and V mixed up when they're saying certain words, or if they're spelling it, like heritage speakers will get it mixed up when they're spelling certain stuff. But it does make like a soft B sound, just like B does. So instead of this being vocal, it would be vocal. Like it's just vocal. Okay? Or if I was saying, somebody's name was like Valentin, right? I wouldn't say Valentine, I'd say Valentin. Like it's short, it's quick, it's a soft B sound. Valentin, vocal, okay? So let's go over these letter names. So we have P, remember not P, 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 Q, R, R, honorable mention, S, T, not T, T, U, V. V, okay? So, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, V. Peligro, toque, que, toro, rojo, carro, solo, sobrino, tomate, octubre, vocal, Valentín. Okay? All right, we're almost done. Let's do our last couple letters. So W is literally called W. W. It literally, when V was named just B, it basically means two V's. W. W is like K. W you really won't see in a lot of Spanish words. Because it's just, you'll only see it when it's borrowed from like an English word. So I can't find any words in Spanish with W. Because you just don't really see it. It's a Latin letter, but there aren't any native Spanish words that use it. So, but anyways, it's called W or W, whatever. So then now we have X. This is X. X is the letter X, okay? Now, X a lot of times makes like an H sound if I'm thinking of it. Like I can't think of a word where X makes a X sound. So if I think of like, the word for Mexico, it's Mexico, Mexico. So it just makes it just makes an H sound, Mexico. It might make an S sound though too, because I believe there's a Spanish name, Xiomara. And I believe this, Xiomara, I believe that's an X. Let me make sure. This is a name in Spanish. It's actually a really pretty name. Xiomara. Yeah, so like the word, this is Xiomara, but it's like a S sound. But X doesn't make the X sound. I've only heard either this, Mexico, or Mexicano, or like a S sound, Xiomara. I don't know. I do know, because I'm your Spanish teacher. So anyways, X, Mexico, Xiomara. So it has some different sounds, not the X sound. All right, next one this is just called Ye. They changed the name of it not that long ago. So Ye, it really makes just the sound that it sounds like. Okay, so Y is Ye, and just like in English, it makes the Y sound. So an example would be, that should be no, apoyar, okay? Or, forgot about this word, the word for son-in-law is yerno. So it just makes a Y sound. All right, and last but not least, we have the letter Z, okay? Z is Zeta, Zeta, or, that's how you would write it, Zeta, okay? And Zeta, again, this is just like V, or it's not that Z sound. It actually makes a soft S sound. So like if I had this word, zapato, okay, zapato. Or just like that one word we used in the beginning, you might remember, abrazo, abrazo, okay? It always makes that S sound. We don't do Z, because again, it takes too long, okay? So it's not zapato or abrazo, abrazo, it's zapato, abrazo, okay? So let's say these letters, say these words, and then we are all done. So we have W or W, X, Y, Z. W, not really a lot of words in Spanish that use it. México, Xiomara, apoyar, yerno, zapato, abrazo. Okay? So, you have officially just learned how to say the letters in Spanish. You also learned how to use them in specific words. And so now when you read Spanish, after you practice these a little bit, you can say them yourself. Great job today.